Hi guys, and welcome back to another Starcraft Remastered replay, as once again we have a very interesting engagement from the South Korean scene, and once again it is going to be indeed a replay from BISU. After many BISU replays here onto this channel, I decided once again to cast his games. A very entertaining gamer, of course, as the Protoss, but this time he's actually facing a very strong Terran player. It is Fantasy who is spawning here in the upper left part as the orange Terran, and yeah, there it is, his opponent with his AK SS Reggie. It's of course BISU who is spawning here in the lower right part as the purple Protoss. Yeah, he's opening up very standardly with his pylon next to his Nexus actually, so no intentions for him this time to go for fast expansion. Let's check Fantasy, who is also opening up here with his supply depot next to his base. So both players not deciding to go for a fast expansion replay. We might see them try some early aggression early on to fend off, to attack actually, and to abuse the base from each other. So very likely they will try to attack the economy from the base from the enemy. So let's see if Fantasy is indeed going to be going for some Marines with some tanks, with some vultures early on to attack the base here from BISU. What exactly is BISU's reaction going to be? Of course it should be Dragoons by BISU early on, very strong and very good into out-microing the Marines, as he's now moving out with his scouting probe. But no, it's actually straight fast expansion for him. So pylon into fast expansion, quite a risky move given the fact that it is a very small map, a two spawning location map. It's just these two streets right here protecting the expansion, and Fantasy is already moving out with his SCV into scouting, and very soon he's going to see the build order from BISU. So quite a risky gameplay here by BISU, as the factory, it should be the factory, no, it's actually a second supply depot for Fantasy. In comes BISU. I believe the entrance is pretty much blocked here by the Terran, so nice stuff here by Fantasy, and yeah, even the supply depot has nicely been finished. BISU tries to, of course, deal some damage. In comes the SCV. He sees now the build order from BISU. He saw the very fast expansion there, and yeah, now some action happening here with some SCV and a probe attacking each other. So let's see if Fantasy is indeed going to try to bust this with even pulling some SCVs, perhaps dealing. This should be his factory here. Yes, indeed, a nice hidden factory in the back. So BISU right now doesn't really know what exactly is happening, what is coming towards his way. This is why this probe right here is going to be very important for him. So this probe gives him, of course, important vision if there's going to be indeed a early move out by the Terran. Might be some vultures here by Fantasy, as the expansion is pretty much finished. So both players at the same worker mount here. You can see the production tab in the upper left part. The first Zealots is getting produced by BISU. We have the cybernetic score and the second gateway as well. So even BISU is actually expecting an attack here by Fantasy very soon, and still the probe is roaming around getting chased by the Marines. So let's have a look if some vultures, or no vultures yet here for the Terran base has been uplifted. And I believe indeed Fantasy is going for his expansion here as well. So pretty standard stuff. He's not deciding to actually abuse the base from BISU to attack the expansion here from BISU, playing very safe. And BISU even retreating now his probe into the expansion point, as he's now going for those Dragoons early on with the range upgrade. So yeah, all of a sudden we have a pretty standard stuff here now, standard game in between the two pro players. I believe right now they will very likely focus onto their macro game very soon. So this means that of course the Terran is very likely going to be going into more mech units, into more vultures with tanks. The vulture very good versus the Zealot. Of course BISU will lose the Zealot, however dealing some damage, but of course the speed of the vulture much better, much faster than the Zealot, so you can of course out-micro him. And the floating barracks indeed indicates to us that it's very likely going to be a transition into mech units. We also have seen a nice starport being hidden here, so we might see some dropship harassment by Fantasy. It also could be raised by him, or we're going to be seeing some battle cruisers. It's going to be very interesting if we would finally see battle cruisers versus the Protoss, as now there is a robotics facility being built and range is going to get finished by BISU, as his speed has also started here for the Terran. And the BISU looks like pretty much preparing a wall of but what exactly can this do versus siege tanks, for example, here? So yeah, but Fantasy, like I told you, also decides to play it very safe, very defensively here now. So we have a small stalemate. It's going to be very interesting to see what exactly is coming out from this starport, and it is indeed a dropship. So yeah, dropship harassment it is going to be indeed for the Terran versus the Protoss, right into this location right here. As I believe I'm going to be staying with this display toggle unit on just to see the upgrades and what exactly is getting produced here by each player. So a dropship harassment it is going to be, and a race now being produced by Fantasy. Quite a interesting move. The dropship is pretty much empty. He's moving out. It's going to be very likely, oh hold on, he's actually going to be picking up those vultures. And let's see if BISU is going to be prepared for that. He has a nice hidden probe here, 2 dragoons into the main, so this can be very deadly now. 4 vultures straight into the base from BISU, and just 2 dragoons guarding it. No cannons there, it's just an observatory. So is he going to wait for more vultures? Yes indeed, so very strong move here by Fantasy. He is going to very likely take out so many probes, and let's have a look, he's actually planting some mines, more mines here, and now I believe he's going straight for the probes, attacking the gateways, dealing good damage. So more damage is being taken by BISU. Let's have a look at the work count, 40 workers here for BISU, and he's doing a very good job actually defending here. The problem for him is the fact that he has no observer, so he pretty much has to stay on position with those dragoons, as now more probes will follow, who have fallen 3 even here, but dragoons have a good point now into taking out the vultures. So quite a good harassment here by the Terran, actually making all of the army here from BISU pretty much immobile with those mines on the ground. Look at that, even a great connection by this one mine. So BISU has to stay on position. The zealots will also take some damage. Good job here by Fantasy. In the end this will be cleared, but yeah, it was a quite nice move by him. It could have dealt even more damage if BISU wouldn't have had any dragoons here into this location. It was actually 6 vultures, and with those planted mines right here he could have of course dealt more damage, as BISU is also taking this expansion. Same can be said here for Fantasy, who is also taking the other expansion here, and the first tanks are also getting produced. The dropship of course is still alive. So yeah, let's see, more factories are getting produced. We once again have a small stalemate. BISU playing very defensively, as he also has the robotic support bay for his weavers, a forge, and now he of course has to move out with his army just to protect the next expansion point here into this location. So we're closing towards the 10-minute mark. Quite a nice harassment by Fantasy versus BISU in the early game, but yeah, BISU holds, and he's at 50 workers versus the 45 here from Fantasy. Yeah, Fantasy looks like he's going to slowly but steadily move out here onto his base. Some SCVs are on idle, so I believe he forgot about those, as yeah, more tanks are now getting produced by Fantasy. So it's going to be very likely tanks, vultures, and perhaps later on some Goliaths against arbiters or against carriers, in case there's going to be some carriers here by BISU. And BISU looks like he's going to defend this expansion point here as well, as he might also try to expand here. So still no movement here, no major movement onto the minimap. It's going to be very interesting to see who is going to be doing the first step into attacking. It might be the Terran with siege tank, but at the same time he's also expecting an attack by the Protoss, as we also have a Rhinodon here onto this map. So quite an interesting creature here. Let's see if this dropship has something. Yes indeed. So Fantasy once again on the move out. He's going to try to very likely drop here into this location and deal damage with the siege tank, but BISU, having a nice observer here, is going to know exactly what is happening. So some dragoons are very likely going to get transferred very soon. Yes indeed, there is the move by BISU. Might need the shuttle as well to drop the unit. Hold on, he's actually might try to move forward to intercept this move, but Fantasy looking like he's going straight for this location. So nice spot being found with this one tank. We have a Reaver response now by BISU, and the tank immediately gets taken out. Some mines won't get any connections, as BISU is now pretty much surrounding all of this area. So very nice defense gameplay here. Some mines will get some connections, some dragoons will fall, but in the end this will of course be cleared. And yeah, the Terran tries of course to deal more damage, nicely doing splash damage with the mines, killing I believe even 2 workers here, so pretty good job. But in the end he did lose the tank, he did lose the vulture, so a small success and also a small attack by him. Perhaps he's going to try to use more of those drop ships. It might be very good into going into a massive drop, perhaps here into the production buildings here from BISU. It would be very interesting. Yeah, BISU now pretty much having so many dragoons on the ground. Dragoons very good into defending, and at the same time BISU looks like going to secure this expansion. Yeah, still 1 dropship only for fantasy. I don't know what exactly his plans are. Perhaps more dropships, being more aggressive would be much better, as he pretty much has a clear way now forward. And once again on the high ground, BISU reacting very fast. And yeah, all of those buildings here are pretty much exposed, but there is a shuttle as well here for BISU, as the river will deal good damage. So it's a nice micro battle in between the 2 crews. Great connection by this one mine. And yeah, the river pretty much has to use his scarabs into taking out the mines, but a great attack once again here by fantasy, and with just a small group of units, actually even 9 kills onto this one hero tank as it's getting taken out, and some vultures are still being left alive. So pretty good stuff here by fantasy. Imagine how much damage he could do if it was actually 2 dropships or even 3 dropships. But you know, pretty much BISU has him on surround, and this is very likely going to get cleared very soon. So fantasy with a nice move, perhaps should just win more time for his expansions. And we actually see the first arbiter here in the production tab being built, so it's going to be an arbiter gameplay for BISU. Fantasy should of course react with a science vessel or even more science vessels, just to counter the arbiter gameplay with some EMP shockwaves. And yeah, EMP of course versus very good also against all of the Protoss units on the ground. Let's just check the upgrades, just one weapons upgrade. Check the vultures here very quick. Also 0-0 for him, as BISU now finally looks like he's going to move out more and more to clear the mines on the ground, and yeah, even dealing damage towards those vultures. So good move here by BISU, nicely intercepting all of those vultures, as the Terran is very likely going to be taking this expansion right here. So nice stuff by him. At the same time he's just roaming around, dealing more and more damage, placing more and more mines. So this is of course going to force BISU to stay back and wait for his observers to clear this. And yeah, those rams are also nicely in favor of the abusive gameplay here by fantasy. He's able to actually snipe more and more workers. Very nice job by him. And worker wise, look at that, there's 20 more workers almost here for the Terran. This could be very deadly, as slowly but steadily more and more of the map is being under control from fantasy. So BISU has to make his move. It looks like he's going to very likely attack here, but a nice wall of by the Terran with the tanks on the high ground, so very hard to attack here onto this map for the Protoss, as those rams are pretty much in favor for the defensive gameplay here for the Terran. And let's see, he's moving more and more forward. He has the observer, but so many mines are on the ground here as well. Still no detection for the Terran. He has to use scan. There it is. But yeah, so much anti-air even here for the Terran, and so many tanks in the back are not being touched yet here by BISU. So BISU might have to retreat, of course. Scan is available, so it was quite a bad move by BISU here, as he has lost some good amount of his force. And I believe the only logical answer here by him should be of course a recall with this arbiter, either recall or massive amounts of stasis traps against the tanks, against the clumped up together tanks. And we see once again fantasy move out with this small group of vultures, not allowing here BISU to expand all over the map. So quite an interesting game we have indeed here, with a very abusive gameplay here by the Terran. And yeah, BISU needs to stay back. Cannons are here of course inbound, as they will deal good damage. And yeah, let's see what the vultures once again going straight for the workers. Very nice job, just killing one worker after the other. 3 workers have already been killed, even 4 now very soon. And yeah, the vultures are pretty much doing a great job. They will be cleared, but yeah, in the end some economic damage once again has been done here by fantasy versus BISU. Pretty good job. And let's see what exactly the answer from BISU is going to be here against a very aggressively expanding Terran very soon. This base, and look at that, even this base is being taken here by the Terran. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Dragoons with Zealots. One armor has also been finished. Two weapons upgrades also have been finished here, and 0 to 1 for the Terran. But it's quite a massive army here for the Terran, almost being maxed out. It's going to be very hard here for BISU to kill all of those units. He needs more Zealots, I believe. Zealots are in the front now, but not that many, and the Terran pretty much trying to secure more of the middle of the map as can. And looks like both players pretty much avoiding each other. BISU is trying to go for the upper right part, as Fantasy goes for the down left part, planting more and more mines, and now even seeing this expansion right here. So BISU has to come back to defend. Fantasy perhaps tries a flank. We might see a recall very soon, even a defensive recall here by BISU, as the expansion is pretty much under attack. So BISU has to make up his mind, as this one expansion taking more and more damage by him. So quite a hard game here for him. Let's see, in comes the Arbiter, and to very likely try to teleport as many units as possible, as the Terran looks like just pretty much going to commit here forward. He has sensed this could be a very good attack by him, as the Arbiter is now moving forward by BISU. And yeah, where exactly is he going to try to land? Perhaps here. There's just 2 turrets, not that many Goliaths on the ground. He might even try to take this expansion out here, as this one is pretty much under siege by Fantasy, and it's actually getting abandoned here by BISU. So BISU with a very hard game. Let's see what's going to happen. The Arbiter, of course, very important for BISU, as some good mine connections once again, but the Vultures also take some damage. The tanks, however, in the back are pretty much untouched, in a very good position, and all of those Dragoons will take quite great amounts of splash damage by Fantasy. So Fantasy taking more and more control of the map, having more and more tanks on the ground. Needs to be careful to micro them wisely, and actually he's going to be able to even take out this expansion from BISU. So BISU just roaming around the map, losing more and more units. Yeah, he is maxed out, but he has to make a good move to stop this great gameplay here by Fantasy, as even some tanks are being left here behind. So yeah, Fantasy looks like he's going to very likely take more and more control, now even having his units right here, and the Observer will of course get detected and taken out. So BISU very passively here. Yes, he's just trying to secure the 2 streets and not allow the Terran to move out, but actually we have a recall. Let's see where exactly that recall has happened. Straight into this expansion point. There were some mines on the ground, there were some anti-air, but BISU with a nice move. And in comes the science vessel, perhaps with the EMP. So great response here by BISU, finally attacking the expansion, and he might even try to take it out very soon, as the command center is pretty much on fire and it's very likely to explode very soon. Yeah, finally the siege tanks can respond. But yeah, BISU with even a great position with his Zealots, but the tanks in the back aren't sieged up, of course. They will try to not deal splash damage towards the units on the ground. So BISU lost his expansion, but at the same time he also inflicted damage towards the expansion for the Terran. All of a sudden Fantasy has dropped to 65 workers, as BISU is going to retake this expansion, but this expansion right here pretty much under control for the Terran. And let's see what the next, let's just check the upgrades once again, 1 to 2, and let's check BISU very quickly, who has 2 armor actually, so he's not going shields, he's going armor and 3 weapons, pretty much maxed out around the 20-minute mark. So the Arbiters will once again be the answer for BISU, as he's able to take out more and more of the units from Fantasy, even losing this one Wraith here. Yeah, both players now just pretty much targeting the expansions, the newly established expansion. The tanks in the back will deal good damage. Great EMP here by Fantasy, as the expansion is taking more and more damage, and I believe Fantasy is going to pretty much continue here his siege. He might go straight for this one location right here, so, and he might also try to split his units to inflict more and more damage, but the tanks will be very likely sieged up pretty much soon for Fantasy. And let's see, BISU also moving out, but with a quite small force by him. Yeah, the SCVs have to repair. Some units should come, of course, to back this up, as both players looks like they're going to be losing their expansions. But yeah, the siege tanks in the back might try to trap the units from BISU, as more and more units are being taken out. The expansion has fallen here. At the same time, this expansion is taking quite some damage, but tanks in the upper ground, on the high ground, actually dealing more and more damage towards those units. And we even have defensive matrix now here for the Terran, as he should be able to hold Same time we have a small engagement here, but yeah, the tanks will be able to take out the units from BISU very soon, and the expansion survives here for the Terran. That's very important. At the same time we see a small move out, but those tanks on the low ground this time in a very good position, and they will be surrounded, they will be splash damaged by the mines, and yeah, vultures are coming in, landing more and more of those mines, so very hard game, like I told you, for BISU. At the same time more action happening here on the other part, so it's still anyone's game. Very interesting game indeed, as in comes once again Fantasy, perhaps with some EMP shockwave. No, actually BISU is much faster reacting. This could have been very deadly with 2 EMPs shockwaves versus all of the units, and even more and more stasis traps are getting cast out as the tanks on the low ground now being able to deal damage towards this expansion very soon. And yeah, nice stuff here by BISU, even stasis trapping his own units here. Quite extraordinary gameplay here by him. But yeah, those 2 science vessels, of course, the important damage dealers against the energy from the Protoss and against the shields from the Protoss. So yeah, it looks like Fantasy is going to very likely attack more and more of the units. Some units are on a hold position pretty much here. BISU tries to attack once again with a small group of dragoons, but yeah, Fantasy is present here as he's able to take out more and more of the units. So both players have pretty much the same worker amount. The supply is plummeting here for both players, and some units still not mobile here for Fantasy, as he's very likely going to try to take out this expansion very soon. Yeah, let's see if this is indeed going to be his plan, as the Dark Templar might survive here. No, it's actually getting taken out. And yeah, Fantasy in a good control, but still BISU's expansions are mining. This one will very likely get pushed very soon, and we might see him siege up here, but he needs vision, he needs to scan this area. BISU might react with some units here, and great splash damage once again being taken here by BISU, as all of those tanks actually do have vision and they are able to shoot down the probes. So BISU losing more and more of those probes as he's trying a counter attack, but Fantasy is very close by with his tanks, with his vultures, and even the Arbiter taking quite some damage. So BISU losing more and more workers. The same can be said here for the Terran, not that many workers being left alive for him. But at the same time BISU dropping to 43 now, and even losing this expansion right here. And now the newly established base will be long distance mined. So yeah, quite an interesting game we have indeed here, as in comes Fantasy with a great flank. All of those probes once again will take some damage, so Fantasy in a very good position. BISU tries to counter with massive stasis traps once again, but still looks like Fantasy might out-micro him as he's just roaming around, just kiting those tanks back and forward and trying to deal multiple damage all around the map. Yeah, BISU is present, however is dropping more and more into the supply. And I believe Fantasy will try to regroup his forces, as BISU is very likely going to be able to take out those units here, as not that much mining is happening. He's trying to surround the units there, and this newly established base is now massively mining from the Protoss, as this base is also mining here for the Terran. And yeah, very soon this should be cleared, of course, as in comes BISU. Some dragoons will fall and this will be clear like I told you, but the real action happening here is BISU took out those units, but the vultures are present with the mines and even the siege tanks. Lots of siege tanks in the back for him. Because now BISU needs to make up his mind. So much splash damage is being taken here by him. All of those mines are getting some great connections. The tanks in the back aren't really touched and the dragoons have to retreat, so the newly established base for BISU is pretty much now under siege, and he's just staying here into just killing the small group. But yeah, Fantasy slowly but steadily moving here forward with his tanks, sieging up, finding some great position, and yeah, those dragoons will of course stand no chance against so many siege tanks on the ground. Let's check the upgrades. It should be 3 of course, and yeah, there it is. BISU actually GGing out 2 to 3 upgrades for him. 2-1-3 for BISU, but Fantasy with a very smart gameplay here, being this time decisively better than BISU. And yeah, 2 science vessels, even 3 science vessels are needed against those arbiters in the air. So this time the stasis trap didn't really work out for BISU like in the previous replays. A nice recall into this base, clearing it, but Fantasy also playing a very attractive gameplay here by him. Very aggressive gameplay actually, not staying that much behind, not defending so much, moving out more, even splitting his troops, even multitasking. Let's not forget that he had a dropship early on just to deal damage into the main from BISU. Let's just check the... That's really quick. Once again, I'm going to be clicking left and right. Great APM here by them. Very interesting 24-minute game by the pros. Yeah, this time Fantasy is actually proving very strong. Very talented Terran player indeed, beating one of the best Protoss there is. So very good stuff. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be seeing, of course, in the next replays. This is Tommy signing out.